I just finished shooting this, and it occurred to me that I forgot to tell you something very, very important. So before we get into the intro and get into the countdown and get into the ranking, you need to know what I'm saying. How's it going to apply to you? And you'll only know that if I tell you a little bit about myself, what I like, and my skin. I am 60 years old. My skin is not dry and flaky, but it's on the drier side. So I wear a lot of skincare, and I don't particularly like a drying foundation. Not too many of us like foundations that drying, but what I find drying, you may not. For instance, I tried a lot of products that Angie has recommended, and she loves them, and I feel like they've dried me out like a prune. So people are different. It's not only their preferences, but their skin. And my skin, a little bit on the dry side. I would love to obliterate everything horrible on my skin, all my redness, my little dark bits, my sun bits. They're not terrible, but I'd rather look like I don't have any at all. But I hate that heavy looking makeup. So, perfect world, I don't have any of that, and yet it doesn't look like makeup. I'm not a huge fan of mattes for a couple of reasons. One, most mattes that I have tried oxidize on me, and I don't want to be orange. Call me crazy. But I also feel like even if I get a good color, it just doesn't look youthful to me. I just don't think it suits me. I think it can suit people, but we're talking about my preferences. I prefer it to look like skin. I prefer not to be identifiable as foundation, if I can get there. The way to get there is to have a good color. If you have bad color, it'll be obvious that you're wearing something. Yesterday I went into Sephora to pick up some things, and I had put on a sunscreen that I used to love, and they reformulated, and I was flipping orange. And I thought, I don't want to wash it off and do my skincare again. I'll just put on some really high coverage foundation, but the orange came through, and I could tell the subtle response that people had to me, like, oh, we're not going to tell her that her face is orange though. But, wow. And then they kind of look away like, I don't want to look like I'm staring, but what the hell's on your face, lady? It was orange sunscreen. Same thing with foundation. Orange foundation is a no. It just doesn't work. And yeah, I guess that's about it. Now let's get into the real intro and my breakdown, my countdown from worst to best of the 8 foundations that I tried over the past 6.5 months, and a couple of favorites that are just stunning as far as I'm concerned. Let's go. I think it's about time we take a look at all the foundations that I reviewed in the past 6 months plus a little smidge, because it's, mid-July right now, and I'm doing something I've never done before. I'm ranking best to worst, designed to help you. Let's talk about it. I have notes, and I watched several of my videos again, because the things that I love the best, I know what I love about them, but the things that I felt meh, or even about, I don't remember exactly what it was. Let's go with the worst. The worst was the Say Glowy Super Skin Serum Foundation. By the way, this is my favorite writing pads. Can we talk about writing pads for a minute? There's grids on them, and there's different colors for different subjects. I've been using these for years. Obsessed. And I will link that below, because you need this in your life, and they come in different sizes. Okay, this Say product, hated it. I can't think of another experience that I've had with foundation, including drugstore, that was so horrible. Now, I was told, people actually were very angry with me, just a couple of people, took it so personally. You need to not wear your skincare with this. Let me just shorthand this for you. If my choice is between foundation and skincare, I'm going with my skincare, and the foundation can go bye-bye. Bye-bye. It's incredibly presumptuous for any company to say, the skincare is in the foundation, and that's all the skincare you need, because you don't know my skin. If you are like me, you have spent quite some time developing a program that works for you and introducing new things to see if they make a difference from time to time. I've done research on ingredients, I've watched videos, but I've done a lot on my own as well. And I know what I need, what I want, and Say doesn't. And considering they are selling products to, let's just say, 12 years old to 72 years old, they cannot be telling me, do not tell me that all my skincare needs are right here. So I put on my skincare because I'm a normal ass person who spent a lot of money on my vitamin C and on my peptides and on my this and my that and my sunscreen. And it was a miserable, horrible, horrible experience. I'll post it right here. I didn't even do a full 3-day wear test on it because it was awful. That was number 8, you guys. The worst of the year, hands down, the worst of 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. I cannot remember having a more miserable experience with a foundation than that one. Coming in at number 7, the Gucci 24-Hour Wear Luminous Matte. First of all, their color selection was abysmal. Abysmal. Second of all, it oxidized. Yay. And it did it really quickly. And I looked orange, even though I didn't choose the neutral color, which is what I usually go for. The neutral was warm, so I went for a rosy, and the rosy was warm. Didn't look all that good on the skin, aside from all that. Considering how expensive this foundation was, it was not worth the money. Stay away. Also, I have to say, I'm not in love with matte foundations. I much prefer a more skin-like finish. And it did leave you slightly a luminous matte, but it was just a fail, a complete fail. I haven't seen anybody say, oh yeah, I'm loving this Gucci. So I'm not the only one. That's coming in hot at number 7. Number 6, the Guerlain Le Tint Terracotta Healthy Glow Foundation, and this is another matte. There were some good things about this. One, it didn't transfer. So it's not like the MAC Face and Body, the Dior Face and Body, where they really adhere, but I don't remember getting it all over my shirt, for instance. The other day I put on a tinted sunscreen and then my makeup, and I wore a button-down shirt, and I don't even know how it got all the way over here, probably from my sunscreen. I didn't have that problem with this, so that is good. My other notes are, after I powdered it, it was very nearly matte with a little bit of a luminosity, but I don't think it was special looking. And I found that over my 3-day wear test, I liked it the best when I use the least amount of product. And that could be because the color wasn't exactly right. The more your coverage, the better your color has to be, or you're just not going to be satisfied. So some good things, some bad things. It has alcohol in it. I will put up with alcohol in some products that they just make my skin look so beautiful, like the House Labs. There's something about it. It makes my skin look insanely gorgeous, so I put up with the alcohol. Also horrible, horrible shades, but at least it doesn't oxidize, so I don't wear it very often. But that's where I will put up with something that isn't that great. And I was seeing some very odd dehydration on my face, which I've never seen before. I attributed that at the time to the weather, but I kind of wonder, was it this product? Oftentimes matte foundations are drying. There's usually powders in them. They can oxidize, they can dry, they can make your skin look older, and it just, I don't know, it just really didn't do anything for me. And that, I believe, is number 6. So coming in at number 5 or number 4, this is where I'm like, I don't know. I have to say the Laura Mercier Real Flawless Weightless Perfecting Foundation must, we have 15 names for our foundations. Is it really, really necessary? I'm just saying no, but we're going to let that go. I was watching the video again last night and I thought, you know, it is awfully pretty. There is something kind of special about this. I noticed during the video there was just a certain je ne sais quoi going on with the skin. It looked very, very pretty. Colors are very difficult for me for this line, so the color was somehow off and something I wouldn't feel comfortable wearing on the day-to-day. And just like with the Guerlain, I preferred less with this one, but it does have solid coverage just like that one. it does feel weightless, like they say. What are they calling it in the title? Real Flawless Weightless Perfecting Foundation. It checks a lot of boxes, it ticks a lot of boxes, and yet it wasn't quite there. However, it was there enough for me to say, if you're looking for a foundation, check that out. Just because it wasn't knocking my socks off doesn't mean that it won't knock your socks off. Next up is Makeup by Mario. Now, I think these could be interchanging. I remember people saying there's sparkles, there's glitter in this. I got a sample, I didn't get a bottle. And sometimes glass bottles will accentuate something that's inside the formula. I put it on, I looked outside, I didn't see glitters on my skin. Could have been large mica, I don't know what it was. I thought it was pretty, but it wasn't something that gave me the butterflies. You know when you try on something that makes your skin look great, that you are excited about. And you know what, sometimes you're wrong. Sometimes you buy it and you're like, you know what, maybe it's not so great after all. But this didn't even get me to that point where I'm gonna buy this. It was okay. It was fine. But as someone who owns a lot of foundations, it didn't make me think, I need this. And oddly enough, a lot of people were reviewing it the same way. It's fine, but it's not like magic. And isn't that what we're looking for with foundations? Foundations can change everything. They change your confidence, right? They change the way you look at the world. We're always looking for the one that's just so great on me that I feel beautiful when I put it on. Don't we want that? I didn't get that with that one. It's fine. You may love it. For me, the Jane Iredale Hydro Pure Tinted Serum. So this replaced their other product, which I actually have. And it's an unusual product in that you can use it as your foundation. It has almost no coverage. Or you can wear it under a foundation because there's skincare ingredients in here. Again, I know what skincare I want on my face, so I don't need to go for a tinted serum. I just go to my serums that are in my bathroom, and those work great for me. And then I put on my sunscreen, and then I'm good to go. I don't think that the ingredients warrant the price. So if you're saying, well, I'll just use it as a serum, not that great of a serum that it's worth that much money. Not that great of a foundation that it's worth that much money. But I'm ranking it pretty high because if you don't have a lot to cover, you don't have scarring, you don't have melasma, you don't have dark spots, you don't have redness. So in other words, it looked great on, I always say on BK Beauty, I always forget her name, but you know who I'm talking about. Her skin is pretty damn good, and when she puts it on, it looks amazing. If I'm having a day where I don't have a lot of redness, or I'm using my Givenchy green corrector, I tried it many ways. I tried it with sunscreens that gave me a little bit of coverage, and I was able to make it work, but it was a lot of work to make it work. And like I said, I'm cutting out the option of putting this under my foundation. That's just not going to happen. It does look so beautiful on the skin. I returned it though because for me, it was so much work to make it work. But if you just don't have a lot to cover and you just want to even everything up, it makes your skin look like, it looks like real skin. It makes your real skin look like it is insanely beautiful. That's a pretty damn good thing. I highly recommend this to somebody who is like BK Beauty, who's still, I can't remember her name, where you just really don't have much to cover, but you might look a little sallow or you want to even up a little bit. It's really lovely for that. Okay, number 1 and number 2 are very, very close to each other. And I don't talk about, I'm going to call this number 2, the Suqqu, very often because a couple of things. You can't get it in the United States. You have to get it online. And they don't do you any favors trying to find the right color for you. It depends on what website you go to. And there's a lot. So there's a UK Suqqu, There's a US Suqqu, there's a Canadian Suqqu, and they oddly enough have different ways of explaining and sometimes different pictures. Sometimes the pictures have ambiance in them, which doesn't do you any favors because there's this darkness and a shadow and you really can't tell what color of skin we're looking at. This, for me, is insanely beautiful December, January, February. I got the feeling when I woke up in the morning, I can't wait to put it on. That's what I mean when I say when you have the right foundation. It only works for me during those periods. I should actually call. I remember Alicia Archer did an interview with a Suqqu person at Selfridges, and they said, call us, we'll help you find a good color for you. And I should call them. I usually don't wake up that early. I'm in Los Angeles, and find out what would work for me in the summer months. But right now it's far too light. Beautiful coverage. It builds beautifully. So if you want a little bit more on the cheeks, you can do that without a problem. Very comfortable on the skin. I love it. I recently actually wore it and I mixed it with something a little bit darker. I can't remember what it was. I think it was something kind of new. Oh, you know what it was? It was the Armani. That's what it was. I mixed it with that and it wasn't too bad. That is a little bit warm. And you know, I just got these from Jones Road, and one of them, I could try it with that too, but I think I would just prefer to have a better color for me. Insanely beautiful on the skin. It just does a little je ne sais quoi where the skin looks so darn pretty. Very, very comfortable. Buildable, good coverage. I adore it, and that was for many months the one that I loved, but I couldn't really wear that much because of the color situation being a little too light for me. And then Rituel de Fille came out with the 3-drop foundation, and they sent me 2, and they didn't work, and they sent me 2 more. So 120, a little bit too light for me, much like the Suqqu, and 125, too warm for me, but I mixed them together and I thought that was really, really good for me. Now, because I'm a little bit darker, I've graduated to not mixing and I'm using 140, which I think is pretty good for me right now. And maybe it'll be good for me for the rest of the summer. And then I'll go back to mixing those 2 together and then just doing the 20. But who cares about colors? You're probably here to know about what it does. I'm wearing it right now. It is hot. I have been sweating, and yet it still looks damn good. It makes the skin look so youthful, so pretty. You only truly need 3 drops. It's very, very lightweight. It truly feels like nothing, and I'm so surprised how much stretch there was. I'm going to post my review here for that, but it just stretched. I'm like, wow. I oftentimes will just do 2 drops, and sometimes when I'm doing 3 or even 4, it's just really to get the color mix right. But now that this one seems to be okay for me by itself, 2 drops, 3 drops, that's all I'm going to need. And despite the coverage that I'm getting, it doesn't look to me like makeup, like the Guerlain did, and like the Gucci did, and kind of like the Laura Mercier did. The Laura Mercier better than those 2, but I don't feel that it has that makeup-y look to it. It is absolutely gorgeous, comfortable, lovely. And people had asked, well, what's it going to be like in the summer? We'll find out, because we are now finally in it, and I'm turning into a sweaty Betty, and I shot another video before this, and it still looks pretty damn nice. And that is my number 1, and that is 8. And I have to say, when I talked about the Rituel de Fille, I said I think I have tried 7 foundations in the last 5 or 6 months, or in the last couple of months, and I really didn't love any of them. And some of them I disliked pretty strongly, and this one was just beautiful. It was something that, again, every day I look forward to putting it on. And the only reason I stopped putting it on every day, it took 3 weeks for me to get there, is I felt like I was neglecting my others. I'm like, I can't just, I can't just be monogamous to one foundation. So I'm like, I need to go back to my Makeup Forever or to my Givenchy, and I need to mix it up and try some things that I really don't get into that often. And then after a week or week and a half, I went back to this, like, yeah, I know I'm there. It is gorgeous. So my two recommends are the Suqqu and the Rituel de Fille, and the one thing I absolutely think is just horrible is the Sept. The matte things, the Guerlain, I always say Gre, it's a Guerlain, and the Gucci, I would say just stay away from the Gucci, just stay away from the Gucci. And the Guerlain and the Guerlain, you might find something to like about it. Anyway, and that's going to wrap it up, you guys. I hope it was really helpful to you. I hope you come back again. Until we meet again, be safe and smart, and I'm wishing you good health.